Welcome to G-Man Gaming and Reviews. Alright, we're going to continue on with our guide to the classes of Tainted Grail. The next class to unlock, I believe, is the Pathfinder. Now, the Pathfinder is in the, I call him the Warriors camp, but he's in the Children of Morrigan camp. Now, like the rest of the Warriors, he has block cards. What makes him different, actually quite unique from the wyrdhunter, is that for starters, every time that he doesn't receive damage in a turn, he becomes focused. Now what that means is, for every turn that he doesn't take damage at all, he actually starts dealing 50% more damage, and it stacks indefinitely. So if, for instance, if you were to have 10 turns in which you didn't take any damage at all, he would potentially be doing an additional 500% damage, I believe, or 250. I think 250% damage, because it's 50% each turn, right? So every turn that he doesn't take damage, he becomes focused. The other thing is, unlike, say, the wyrdhunter, his ultimate ability charges by playing stance cards, which is like blocks and armor cards. So one of the advantages that he has over the wyrdhunter is that even when he's blocking, he's actually building up his charge of ultimate ability, so he's still actually achieving something even though he's blocking, which is something that the wyrdhunter can't say. Because the wyrdhunter charges up their ultimate ability by doing damage, by hitting. So he's very, very good in that respect. The only problem with him is that it can actually be quite hard to maintain the focus, because if you start dealing with enemies that are doing multiple instances of damage, if any of that damage gets through, he loses the focus ability. So let's just say you've had 5 turns where he hasn't taken any damage, and now his damage has been buffed by the amount of turns that he didn't take damage. You lose that bonus, and you completely lose that bonus, right? So one of the things about playing him is trying to not take damage at all, but unfortunately, this class has a problem with that, especially if you're playing with if you're playing against enemies that do multiple instances of damage rather than one big instance of damage. Now the other thing about him is that when he charges up his ability, when he uses his ability, he actually buffs the amount of damage that he does, and he actually what actually happens is, I just noticed it now. What actually happens is, when he uses his ultimate ability, based on how many charges he has, he gets additional energy, and he draws bonus cards from the deck. Now, this is really good, especially if you haven't been taking any damage, because it means that you're going to have turns where you do mega damage. So, that's pretty much how this class works. When I actually show you the playthrough with him, I think at that point you'll probably get a better understanding. But like the rest of the warrior classes, just having a look, that's Children. It is Children of Morrigan. Yeah, it's Children of Morrigan. So, like the rest of the warrior classes that I've shown you so far, which is the wyrdhunter, he basically has blocks and buffing armor and all sorts of that. So we're gonna move on to this was G-Man Gaming and Reviews, and this was our guide to the Pathfinder. So with this series, there's going to be 3 parts. There's going to be the general discussion, which I've just done, which basically goes through the basics of the character and how they work. There's going to be a battle playthrough where I actually play through a few battles to show you how the class works. And then there's going to be a discussion on runes, which is part 3. So we're going to transition over to part 2 now. Welcome to part 2 of the G-Man Gaming and Reviews guides to the Pathfinder. What we're going to do is we're going to do some difficult fights. Obviously patting our dog, Woolsey. We're going to do some difficult fights so we can showcase this class and then really talk about how this class works. Now, the thing about this class is there are a few things that I discussed before, is block cards or stance cards in particular. Stance cards in particular, for every stance card you play, you get an ultimate charge, right? When you build up to a certain number of charges, for every 3 charges, you draw 1 card. And for every 6 charges, you gain 1 energy. So potentially when it's at maximum charge, which is 12, you'll get an extra 4 cards and an extra 2 energy, right? So the thing about this class is that this class powers up its ultimate ability by using stances. But one of the other important things about it is the battle focus passive skill that you start with. So basically for every turn that you don't take any damage at all, your base damage increases by 50%, and this stacks each turn, and it resets whenever you get hit. What I'm going to do is get 2 blocks so that I don't get hit at all to build up charges, and we're going to hit this and hit this to take it out, and you'll notice that my damage will increase by 50%, right? So one of the things that's the weakness to this class is lots of instances of damage, like multiple hits, right? Because this class doesn't want to be getting hit at all, so that you can keep increasing your focus. Now, it's quite easy in this scenario, but because I only have to block 2 attacks, but normally it's not. Normally it can get pretty difficult. So you'll notice that I've got 4 charges now, which means if I was to use this, I would draw 1 card and plus and that's it. So we're gonna hit him to attempt to take him out. And now our damage increases by 50% again. So now we're at 200 damage. And you'll notice now we actually have no block cards, which is really, really annoying. So we're going to hit him to take him out. And then we're going to use stun. Oh wait, he's immune to stun. Great. So now I'm going to take damage. And I lose the focus bonus. Right? So there's going to be 2 attacks here. So we're going to use this to... Now, one thing that I didn't say is this class always has the insight ability, which duplicates a stance. And I take no damage, and now I get 1 stack of focus again. I'm going to use the 1 block to block the 1 attack. And I'm just going to use this stance because why not? So now I increase damage to 50% again, and you'll notice that I've got quite a few charges now. And I'm doing additional 200 damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to draw extra cards. So I get block cards now, and I've got extra energy. So I'm going to use Insight and Block to get 2 blocks to block those 2 attacks. And now I'm going to start doing damage. And that wasn't what I wanted to do, but anyway. And now I get an additional damage. So we're going to use Onslaught to take him out. And Block to block that 1 attack. Now this is another card that is unique to the Pathfinder. And you start off with 2 of them in the deck. They increase damage by 50% for each active block. So they really work well with this class. And we're going to use... And you'll notice that my damage is now at 300% because I've got 4 stacks of focus. So we're going to use 1 attack to take him out and block once. And then we'll use small strikes to kill him. So that's pretty much how this character works in a nutshell. So like I said, he doesn't want to be getting hit at all. That's how he powers up. So we'll do some more battles here. Okay, so we're going to do that. And block. Do Onslaught. We should be able to kill him. Actually... take that. Let's have a look. Yeah, we'll take the dual ability.
Stone, you find a small...
Very, very nice. And so that is particularly how the Pathfinder class works. So pretty simple. You just, like I said, focus on trying to take as little damage as possible. Trying to not get hit at all. If you get hit, you get hit, you know. But like I said, with this class in particular, you want to be trying to make it so that you don't get hit at all. So cards which stun can be very, very useful if you can't block all the attacks. But like I said, even if you get hit, this class builds ultimate charges by using stance cards, which makes it somewhat better than the Wyrdhunter, because the Wyrdhunter only builds charges by attacking, by hitting, for each hit he does. So an interesting twist on the warrior class, but I would have to say this one is the safest of the 3 to play, because you've got that insight card which allows you to double a stance. It means that you're going to be able to block better than with the other warrior classes. So this was part 2 of our character playthrough guide with the Pathfinder. We're going to move over to part 3 in the village with runes. Welcome to part 3 of our guide to the Pathfinder for G-Man Gaming and Reviews. Alright, so this is the part where we're going to cover runes. Now.
The blacksmith is...
As for what runes you should get, I would have to say that with this class in particular, the Cracked Stand rune is pretty good. Increasing your max HP by 30 means that, especially with this class, with the fact that it has block cards, it means that you're more likely to survive those turns when you just can't get any block. Right? Now, in particular with this class, I suppose in comparison to the Wyrdhunter, the Wyrdhunter has the potential to do a lot of damage in a single turn. This class does, but it builds up to it. So, so as for like, would you go for Cracked Gar? I mean, increasing damage by 2 is pretty good. I do like Cracked Calc in the weapon slot for this class, because in the first turn of combat, draw 1 additional card with cost reduced by 1. This basically means that it'll allow you to get an extra card in your hand, which means you'll probably start off combat really, really well. The Cracked Tear rune is, I'm not the biggest fan of this. The reason I'm not the biggest fan of this is because the Pathfinder doesn't start a battle with high damage. He builds up to it. So because he builds up to it, this particular rune, I mean, the extra armor can be great for surviving, but in the armor slot, but I wouldn't take it over the Cracked Stand rune, which increases the maximum HP by 30. This card here, Ethel, is a little bit of interesting, like whether or not I like Ethel or the Cracked Stand. I mean, the Ethel rune is better for dealing with light hits, but like I said, this class doesn't like getting hit, okay, or it doesn't want to get hit at all, preferably. But that being said, having extra armor can help you deal with light hits better. So, like I said, with this particular class, apart from increasing the HP, which I think is sort of mandatory, I don't really think that there are any runes there that are absolute musts. The Pathfinder in particular, unlike the Wyrdhunter, the Pathfinder, like the Wyrdhunter has the potential to do big damage from the second turn, because he's got some runes that allow you to do mega damage if you only play 2 cards in a turn. So, the Wyrdhunter has the potential to do mega damage on the second turn. Pathfinder doesn't. It's going to take the Pathfinder some time to build up those focus charges before he gets to a point where he's going to be doing consistently high amounts of damage. So, like I said, having extra HP can help you survive if they get through. But like I said, the Ethel rune can be good. But like I said, worrying about runes for this class isn't really that important as it is, say, with the archer classes. You've got a lot more flexibility as to what runes you take based on what you want to be doing. But yeah, so the warrior classes in particular are probably the easiest of the classes to use. But remember, that's how the Pathfinder works. So this was the end of our rune discussion for G-Man Gaming and Reviews for our guide to the Pathfinder. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and bye.